What's up and welcome to the Kind of Funny Gamescast for Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. Of course, I'm your host, Tim Geddes. I'm joined today by the master of hype, Snowbike Mike.
Hello, Tim Geddes. It's nice to see you.
Nice seeing
I did
you.
not bring a computer out. We didn't have internet.
It. Different vibes.
And so, yeah, I just brought a notepad out.
Old school.
I had a lot of games.
Yeah?
You know, I just started writing.
Down?
It's like, I got a lot of games.
Yeah.
I was playing video game charades with the chat earlier.
Fun.
You missed out on that one.
That
They did a good
cool.
job. Good job to everybody watching out there.
Good job to everybody watching. We also have the Big Daddy himself, Greg Miller.
I'm so sick of Instagram's bullshit. Let me post a story from the web browser. So I don't have to go in here and copy and paste, but then this didn't copyright, so now I got to do this shit. I just want people to know we're talking about video games. It's
Something
just
I
so
learned
fucking hard.
about Instagram recently that upset me is like, you know, on your Instagram page, there's the archive thing you can have. So you can have like set little circles. That's very nice. I'm like, I like that as like, hey, cool. Here's some collections for us to be able to go. That can only be stories. What the fuck are we doing here?
Pin a post.
Let me make a pin a post. We're gonna have to talk later. I don't understand. Pin a post. I don't know.
See, like I have all these ones pinned at the top, like that are just there. So
oh yeah, no, but I like the little. I want collections of stuff. I'd want it to just be like how stories look, but like not limited to 60 seconds. Just let me have a bunch of my longer videos together, like game reviews. That'd be nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be really cool.
That. You know what I discovered yesterday? I was doing something. I forget what, but it was that thing where I did something on Instagram and I went on one of my pin posts of the photo of Ben's birth or whatever, and I discovered that when I did the fuck Elon and fuck Trump thing at Dice Awards, right, and everybody, all these people got really, really mad, right? They had come to my pin posts and were really negative there, and it was so funny to go through and delete all these comments like, oh, you thought you were really doing something. I didn't notice that. That was in February. I didn't notice till June. It didn't affect my life whatsoever.
And rounding out the group today, we have the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
I have a problem with this company.
This company? Kind of funny?
This
or Instagram?
This company. Kind of funny. I don't think we're doing enough
Fair.
to make fun of the fact that Barrett's missed the last 2 days because he got sunburned.
You
Like,
can't-
what are we?
No,
come on! If it were anybody else,
I mean, if it was Snowbike Mike, we'd just tear him up.
For the record,
Mike have been here.
Yeah,
we live our
we've been there.
lives. Like,
dude, when the Slack went out on Monday, that was one of those I'm too stunned to speak things. Where I was like, because of course you want to dunk on him for it or whatever, but then it was just like, man, that is just not an excuse I've heard for missing work. I got too sunburned over the weekend.
Here's the thing.
But I've been there.
I have been there multiple times.
I was a child.
I was an adult. Things happen. I will say, like, you're right, Andy.
we're not doing enough. Like,
You're so.
I honestly feel like it's one of those when your friends fall down, you're like, are you hurt? And if they say no, you immediately start making fun of them. And if they are hurt, let's convalesce. Let's get you back in the office at least. So then be like, you fucking idiot.
Because I'm with you, Andy. We're definitely not doing enough. Having said that, the bravery and courage that this man, Barrett Courtney, had to say this publicly to us. I think we have to give him the pass.
I mean, it's one of those things like we all give each other a lot of shit here, and we have safe words to stop, which we don't use all that often. But you want to see an example of how much I think we all truly love each other. It is the fact that Barrett's like, I'm too sunburned to come work. Like, it's okay, feel better. You know what I mean? Like, it's not immediately like.
I do get it.
Imagine you were working at the Best Buy and you called in. I got sunburned. I can't come work.
2 days back to back.
God, I freaking love it.
Part of it is also probably like,
have you seen him?
I saw him the day of, and I didn't notice when he walked by me. But then he was like, "What'd you get into today?" I was like, "What'd you get into?" He's like, "I went to the beach," and he was like, "And I got hella sunburn." And I kind of looked at him, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, you did get hella sunburn." And it's probably just much worse now.
I was gonna say, is he blistering? Do we know that?
The past 2 days, I've just been hearing him like wheel out. No, I've been hearing him like scurrying about.
You hear Alyssa changing the iron lung.
I've been hearing like really slow footsteps. So the movement's got to be tough.
Sunburns are like I had a blistery one when I was a kid. Horrible.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
You burned like nobody's business.
I hate it.
Back when we thought Mike had his life together, Mike taught him sun safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Sun safety. Are you ready to practice proper sun safety this Saturday? We're going outside. Big dog for the number one.
That's right.
I don't want to, hold on. I want to get there in just a second. I do love the segue. That was good. But I don't want to leave Barrett yet because I do want to say, I know we've been hyping up his Naughty Dog video for the last week. Yes. It's finally out on Friday. I watched it over the weekend and I legitimately am so impressed by this video. Yeah. Like I'm a fan of Barrett, period. I'm a fan of video essays, period. He's done so many that I've been a big fan of, like specifically his God of War and the Jedi Fallen Order ones. Like really, really looked at those games from a perspective I simply wasn't. So I've always been very impressed with that. But I think this is definitively another level for him. Like this was a
1,000%.
very, very, very good piece of content. He should be very proud of himself. Like I don't agree with every single take he has, but that's part of the fun. Like it's really, I think that he stands by a perspective throughout the entire thing and like found the point of the video in such a beautiful way. I highly recommend everyone watch it because I told Barrett this, but I expected that it was going to be good. This is way above my expectations. Like this is very, very,
round
very,
of applause
very
for
good.
Barrett.
Very good.
Definitely check it out.
Wherever he may be.
He may be. A little housekeeping for you. We're an 11-person business, all about live talk shows. Games Daily, we talked about Xbox's upcoming layoffs. After this, the Jabroni Boys are streaming Dune Awakening with Bless.
We have a new jabroni boy entering the desert with us, and we're gonna just let him live up in the spice.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's hyped.
He talked some shit on Games Daily. Nick came in, pulled the cards to get in there. You're going
That's
to
so exciting.
not Verdansk, whatever the
Welcome.
planet is.
Arrakis. Yeah, we're very excited.
Hey man, I watched the movies. I just don't remember.
It's
Okay.
an alternate universe. Jessica never had Paul Atreides.
You watched Dune?
Yeah, Jen's big into it, so I had to watch them both on first nights. But like,
What?
What did you think, dude?
yeah,
How did I
man.
not know
I'll
this?
tell you what. What did I think? I'll tell you what.
Lay it on me.
Come on, I walk alone.
That guy rocks.
Fucking Batista, he's back, baby.
Oh my God. If you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Greg Way is all about Death Stranding 2 commenters and how they actually got under Greg's skin yesterday.
Oh,
I didn't expect to see you do the move.
I'm ready, man. We don't do it now.
That was spit takes, man. Holy shit.
Nobody's talking about Batista.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney Twining. Before we get into all that stuff, I want to go back to what you were talking about, Mike, which is the Greg Miller Kind of Funny Game Showdown Championship Parade.
Saturday.
That is going down Saturday, June 28th at 10 a.m. Pacific.
That's right.
Correct?
Yeah, we live in the Pacific.
Yes, just making sure. We will be meeting at...
We will be outside the ferry building on the Embarcadero, 10 a.m. We will all congregate. I urge you to bring your own signs. I'll bring extras.
a sign.
I'll bring extras. Wear your shirt, of course, kindoffunny.com/store. Probably couldn't get to you in time if you haven't already ordered it, but try. And then, we will walk the Embarcadero during Pokemon Go Day, apparently, with Tim there trying to get his Pikachu or whatever. And we'll be celebrating me and me doing the impossible, Andy, leading Team Blue to their third championship in a row.
big
The
three.
three-peat. The
Big
three-peat.
three.
That's
A lot of
huge.
people say it couldn't be done.
We'll end up at Square Pie, guys. We'll have some pizzas. We'll have some beers. We'll hang out till about noon. Chill out. I'm calling it a walking meet and greet.
I love it. Yeah. And more information on this, right? It is day one of Pokemon Go Fest. All right.
I didn't know that.
2-day annual event, Andy. Very, very, very big
Oh, it's
deal.
annual, so it's
Good
like
day.
doesn't happen all that often.
Weird timing.
This is a big deal. Not only is this a big deal because it's Pokemon Go Fest, I'm going to be very, very intently playing this game. So I'm going to be walking with y'all.
Everybody talking
First
to
and
Tim.
foremost, I'm playing this goddamn game, okay? But second of all, I can now say definitively that it will be that day that I hit level
that you
50.
hit 50.
That I hit
locked
50.
in.
I will be bringing my jacket, and I will not be allowed to wear the jacket until I hit 50.
Want me to wear it for you?
But
So
I
it's
have to
not
get
wear.
999 excellent throws, which is not easy, not the most challenging, but it's not that easy. And I have about 150 left. I'll definitely hit it by then.
When did you hit level 49?
I hit level 49 over a year ago.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Yeah. The last level's been a grind and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah, yeah.
So, I don't love that the day that I've been working for very hard, spending a lot of money, spending a lot of time, walking miles and miles and miles
Should have said Assassin's
to
Creed.
do.
You know?
Should have. Climbing game. Who would have known?
Should have, could have, would have.
Yeah.
I know.
What's the deal? You retiring or not?
Yeah, people want to know what's the deal.
Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney Twining. Today, we're brought to you by Cash App and Mood, but we'll tell you all about that later. Let's start with the topic of the show. We played a whole bunch of video games, y'all, and we're going to talk about them. We played Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Somebody here, Mike, has beat Elden Ring Nightreign. We're going to talk about all that and more, but I want to start with Marvel Cosmic Invasion because I'm personally very excited about this. Greg, you played it at Summer Game Fest. The embargo is finally up, so you can actually talk about it. It's a cosmic battle awaiting. Choose between 15 Marvel heroes in this frenetic action beat 'em up to fight against the deadly annihilation wave, threatening the galaxy from New York to the depths of the negative zone. The future of the Marvel Universe will be fought for across the stars. This is from the team that made TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Obviously, the moment they showed this, both the animation and gameplay, many of us here at Kind of Funny were popping off. I am a huge fan of Marvel, of side-scrolling beat-em-ups, and specifically of 90s Marvel video games. And this seems to be taking all of that and just being like, here you go, Tim. Does it live up to all my dreams, Greg?
Yes, and more so, I think.
Let's go.
I have an interesting take on all of this, where this debuted, of course, at a Nintendo Direct. It was an early morning one, I do believe, where I think I was at home doing dishes, or maybe I was at home doing dishes because Ben was sick, but at some point I was at the sink, and I got a text from one of my Mr. Nintendos, who was like, I think you're going to love this next thing. It's been hard to keep it from you. And I went, holy fucking shit. And I opened it up, and I think it was... The next thing actually was Patapon, if I'm getting these right. And I was like, oh my fucking God, or maybe it wasn't. No, I was here for Patapon. It was something that's a Greg game that made a debut there. Freedom Wars, I don't know. And he was like, what? No, I mean, that's cool, but not that. And then this happened, and the trailer was going as it did. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then it got to being a beat 'em up. And I went, oh. And my history of beat 'em ups is I am a child of the 80s into the 90s, right? So I played a lot of them. And I always found myself frustrated with them not feeling good, them not feeling right. I'm Superman in the Death and Return of Superman, right? And I'm trying to punch to the right, but I'm off by a few pixels, so I'm punching at somebody's calf and doing no damage. I'm like, that's fucking is annoying as shit. And there was that deal where even Scott Pilgrim, when that one dropped, and I was at IGN, and everyone was all about that on the first release. I played enough of it, but I wasn't a Scott Pilgrim fan, and then I had this aversion, I would say, for beat-em-ups after playing so many of them and not having the experience I wanted, that I really stayed the fuck away from them. This demo was so good that at the end, and the Tribute Games was there doing it with me. At the end, they're like, so what did you think? And I literally was like, this is going to sound offensive. I'm sorry. Is this what TMNT Shredder's Revenge was like? And like, what do you mean? I'm like, I never played Shredder. Like, what the fuck? You never? And I'm like, what? And I gave a recap version of that. Like, yeah, this is what it. And I immediately went home and started playing Shredder's Revenge because I've been chasing the high of Marvel Cosmic Invasion since I played this. And Shredder's Revenge is a fantastic game, and I know this is what you've been playing. Me and Ben love it. Ben loves it.
Nice.
Can we play Ninja Turtles?
Who's his favorite turtle?
You know, he gets around, but he usually comes back to Leo.
Okay.
He's usually coming back to Leo, you know what I mean? But then it's the classic that I do it, and then I pick some alternate skin for Raph or for Michelangelo, and he's go, Dad, give me your controller. So I have to pass it back, and then I'm, you know what I mean? It's the whole thing. Anyways, though, Cosmic Invasion, yes, for somebody who slept on TMNT, who loves the property of TMNT, but like, you know, I didn't want to go to this. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up, just like you would expect, just like the thing said there. It plays a lot like TMNT, as you would expect, right? You have the light attack, you have a power attack, you have a special meter that builds up and goes. The change here would be, as we watch the She-Hulk Rocket Raccoon debut trailer, right? Is the idea that you are picking two characters that you can then swap on the fly with just a button and press. You could also play all the way through with one, and then if you got KO'd, your second character would step in or whatever. This comes down to the fact that something they talked about in the demo that I didn't know at the time, but now future Greg would have understood it better. Of like in TMNT, right? They're all fucking turtles. Like you got Splinter and you got April, and there was DLC characters, but like the core characters all felt pretty much the same.
Turtle-like. Yeah.
Here with Cosmic Invasion, the first thing they did when we went to the character select screen, because we didn't have everyone to play with. Sadly, all 15 weren't there. We had Captain America, Nova, Storm, Venom, Wolverine, Phyla, Vel.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
You know
not
them
familiar.
From X-Men Dark Phoenix, right?
Of course, how could I forget? And Spider-Man. But when we sat down and we're at the character select screen, tribute was like, hey, we would recommend pick a flyer and then pick a ground person, right? Because obviously we're dealing with superpowers here. Rocka's going to feel different than She-Hulk, even though I'm just watching them and saying that, right? But Cap feels different than Storm, right? And that's who I picked. I went with Cap, of course, because Avengers. Come on now.
Come on.
Marvel's Avengers, Chris Dynamics, never forget. You were too harsh on it. You also let Black Panther footage. You tried to change your tune. Too late. And then I just went with Storm because I wanted to see a flying character, right? And it was that idea of, something I have right now in TMNT to a degree, right? Of like flying characters come in and it is, okay, I got to jump at the right time and hit you the right way. Whereas when more people are flying inside of this game, I would switch over to Storm, go up there and beat the shit out of them. And then when that was done, go back to Cap because Cap's fucking awesome. Throwing the shield, catching the shield.
Bouncing off a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's bouncing off people. Best. It's feeling real good out there, real good. And Storm felt good too. They talked about her being lighter, more elegant, right? I jotted it down, right? I think it's her.
Phyla-Vell was in Guardians 3. That comes from Jumps 004. I think it was the little girl.
Oh,
that ended up joining the team at the end.
And
Storm the Capitol. That's all I was thinking of. I was just trying to find out Storm the Capitol,
okay, yeah. Keep working on it. You're almost
done. Think about
it. Storm, she has the dodge attack that cross screen that comes back and then attacks the other way, but then you see her calling down lightning there for her big special. Everybody feels powerful. Everybody feels good. We went through, I got to play this is Venom, so you're swinging with that. You know what I mean? Swinging as Spider-Man. As you see throughout this, Venom's, the symbiote is constantly being deformed and moved around and slammed around, making it feel really good. For me, something we didn't get to see there, but I know from Ninja Turtles, right, is with my history of Ultimate Alliance and sitting there like a moron and grinding these characters to 100 for no reason. Just sitting there doing
love that game.
The Kamala Khan spin attack, you know what I mean? Just getting it all. The idea of leveling these characters up like you level up the Turtles and Shredder's Revenge, super exciting for me in terms of how I want to go and attack it. But so good. Obviously gorgeous if you're watching it. If you are a listener and for some reason haven't seen this game, I urge you to go watch a trailer, go catch some stuff, go see some screens. It's got that pixel-based sprite stuff you expect from X-Men Arcade or from the classic 16-bit games. Obviously, it looks modern. It's HD, all that jazz. But yeah, Tim, they are nailing this. I think it's exactly what you'd want out of it. It's definitely what I want out of it, and I can't wait to get Ben's hands on it. Even when we're playing Turtles, I'm like, Ben, isn't this going to be fun to be superheroes? Yeah. We're stoked at the Miller household for this one.
Yeah, I'm obviously very hyped for this. And a lot of what you said does resonate with me as well, where I loved the games in the arcades, The Simpsons and X-Men and all that stuff. But even as a kid, I never liked how it felt. And even with Shredder's Revenge, while that was still true, I feel like they added enough things that I could kind of deal with it. I'm in the same place as you with Scott Pilgrim, with the exception being I love Scott Pilgrim. And playing through it, I beat it, but at a certain point, it felt like a chore more than it felt like I'm actually enjoying myself. Sure. But there was a lot of that game, the soundtrack from Anamanaguchi specifically, that kind of kept me there. But something so special about Shredder's Revenge, and what seems to be for this too, is the amount of love in the background and the amount of just character everything has, and this being watching the characters move, they look like the fighting game Marvel characters from the 90s, and the sounds like those fighting games, the Marvel and Capcom games, and seeing some of the movesets even from Wolverine and Cap, it's that's straight up their moveset from some of those games, which it's those little references and nods and the love that they put in, the storytelling of the backgrounds of the different locations you're in. I feel like that's the difference between all right, cool, it's a side scroll beat 'em up, and there's so much love being put into every single thing, where it does have that theme park feel, where it's 100%. Playing it, part of it is the gameplay, but another part of it is kind of just taking in the whole scene.
As you go through, if you pause, if you can, go back one and pause. Daily Bugle, of course, in the background. Spider-Man is front page. There's the overt stuff like that, right? But as you kind of saw it in one of them, but you'd have to be looking for it. In the back of one of them is a billboard for Secret Hospital with Mary Jane. They're making references to deep cut stuff that you don't necessarily know off the top of your head if you weren't paying attention, if they weren't calling it out.
But even the obvious, yes, there's going to be just random things in the background to look at. But even just the fun animations that are unique to just one specific screen. Of course. You'll only get there. A lot of that, Metal Slug love. Part of the reason I love Metal Slug is the charm of the character animations and all the different weapons they have. And the team over at Dotemu really have figured out the secret sauce when it comes to getting all of that and applying it to a gameplay with leveling systems that are great. Streets of Rage 4 is a highlight for a lot of people in the genre. This seems very interesting, adding the tag team element, because obviously the fighting games do that, but don't think I've experienced that in another game. And starting with 15 characters pre-DLC, which you imagine this will get.
You hope so.
That's wild. Like, that is a lot of different playing characters with entirely different movesets. You talking about the kind of like the flyers, the non-flyers. Like, that's a level up of this, like, classic type of gameplay that I'm really excited to get my hands on. Andy, I know you didn't really vibe with Shredder's Revenge because it still didn't solve the up and down issue for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that this might get you in here?
It's always it's not even the I'm punching on the wrong plane. It's just like, I can move left to right in about a second, and going up takes about 3 seconds.
Sure.
I've always been a bit more bothered by that. I think the art style is something that it's worth even booting up for me. I'm just so into the pixel art style. Yeah. What I wanted to know from Greg were what if any superheroes do you think should be in this roster?
Well, I mean, that list is as long as your arm, right? I feel like it's when you get into it now, you start questioning, well, what slots are you going to give to who, right? So hold on. So let me add here, because you got She-Hulk and you got Rocket. Now I'm going to turn these bullet points, watch this, Mike, to numbers, all right? That's how good I am at Google Docs. Oh, fuck, it changed them to different letters. God, it's because it doesn't know where. Oh, fuck me running. Man. You know what I mean? Hold on. There you go. That's 9. So you're talking there's only 6 characters left. You figure Iron Man's got to be there.
Yes.
We have to have an Iron Man, right? Let's not be silly about it. And then you start getting interesting, because I think even She-Hulk and Rocket are interesting picks, right? So
to have so much screen time in the trailer, I would. Yeah,
they're big reveals. Yeah, they have their own trailer when they got announced.
Oh, this is just those.
They
two.
got announced. Yeah. So they put out a new trailer with just.
I wish Venom was blue. That is one of my only issues of what I'm seeing here.
Well, I mean, you figure there's gonna be alt costumes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that's like that's what. Again, for the Turtles, that's cool. Whatever. For this game, alt costume, I'll be marking.
Dude, that's got to be so much.
You think you'll see a Fantastic Four with the movie tie-in?
Yeah,
it's close.
Yeah, but who do you put? I think do you put Mr. Fantastic in? Because I feel like, are we doing this is very comic-y rather than MCU-y, so are we putting Miss Marvel?
Well, if we're not getting Hulk, I think Thing could make sense.
Yeah, She-Hulk though, right? I mean, Thing
but that's a different type of like brawler character.
I hear you.
I guess Venom's a little more similar.
Well, that's the thing is you look at the classes you already have and start really going around that.
Like where are the holes?
Yeah.
Dude, alt costumes seems like insane if you're not just palette swapping things. Like, because for a 3D model, when you make a new skin for somebody, like you make the 3D model and then you just have to make sure that everything is it's hard to like say this in a it's called painting weights, where you were like making sure that like everything looks good in animation and the animations stay the same. But this is essentially like repainting over every frame of animation.
I think it'll just be different colors and stuff.
Shredder's
Revenge, I'm pretty sure that was the case. Okay. We're not getting like trench coat Donatello.
No. Yeah. If you didn't play Ninja Turtles, it was like, you had
bandana
different
color.
You had it was that, and then you put eyes in it, and then you had like, the red thing on Raphael's face and stuff. Like it was a different, the Game Boy versions. Like, I'm talking about Venom being blue. I don't think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have like Lady Venom instead of that.
Yeah.
The chat's saying that Sue Storm is in the game. And has been in all the trailers.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, there she is. Well, there you
have it. I'm super hyped on this, and it seems deeper than even Shredder's Revenge. And Shredder's Revenge like had so many spectacular moments of like just vocal tracks coming out of nowhere, and like they got Wu-Tang Clan in that.
They got your ass. She's the Invisible Woman. That's why she's in the trailers. You fuckers. You fuck faces in the chat.
Good.
You got it, Tim.
How about baddies? Did you see any bad guys? What can we expect to see? What cool
it's the
moments,
it's this overall thing of the invasion. It's Annihilation. Is that what the main guy's name is, right? So you saw his little like basic Starros. It's a DC person like attaching to people and making them bad, making them worse. So we fought Beetle. I put it down, Taskmaster.
Okay.
Yeah, we had these, the Bebop and Rocksteady kind of fights there. Not together, but like in terms of like, TMNT at the end of it. But it's interesting to see them, I think, diving deep into the Marvel catalog, right? I feel like MCU is so well known, Marvel is so well known that you're bringing up Beetle. We're going to have you fight this guy as a boss. Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm excited to see what else is there and what we're going to build to as well.
At some point, we see them fight this like pterodactyl looking guy that I think his name is Sauron.
He's the dude from
Spider-Man comic?
I only really know him from Marvel Snap now. So
really?
like, he's one of the starting
frame
cards.
of the Spider-Man comic, right? Of like, with this, how smart you are in this thing, you could cure cancer. But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Let's move on from Marvel Cosmic Invasion to Mike.
Yeah, me and Andy beat Elden Ring Nightreign. We're going to talk all about it. But before I do, we got to bring up a big crime that's been committed this last generation of video games.
We'll make fun of Barrett.
And that's Nintendo Switch and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Greg. Being trapped on that system. That's fucked up that we can't play that everywhere.
I agree.
That should be out.
Again.
That game rocks. But this game will scratch my itch. So
Yeah.
it's good enough. Okay, I'll take it.
What about Nightreign?
Andy, let's talk about Elden Ring Nightreign. Of course, it is an From Software experience made exclusively for me. The only jabroni who loves multiplayer games mixed with Battle Royale, closing circles, and sprinkling a little From Software magic. This is a game that I love to death. It will probably go down as one of my top favorites in the company's franchise list here.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying this is probably going to be your number one of the year.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
This will go down as my favorite. It's everything that I want out of a FromSoft experience, being able to share it with my friends, most importantly, having it being very fast and not have it, hey, let's slow down, let's read these stats. Let me guess, if I put 50 into health, how much more will my health bar go up? It's just simply, hey, drop your runes off here at this site of grace, let's level up, let's move on to the next awesome piece of action. And so it's this blend of high-paced action, extreme difficulty with From Software game design, and then on top of that, of course, my favorite is the map exploration. I am always wowed and impressed by all the cool scenes that we see, all the different bosses that they mix in to the different locations, and having, what, Andy, 10 bosses? How many do they have, 8 to 10?
They have 8 unique bosses.
Yes, 8 unique bosses, and then each one of those bosses has a just splattering of different amounts of bosses that you can fight before them too.
Yeah, a bunch of different Elden Ring enemies, and we reviewed this already in a way that was kind of like, yeah, we played it, we were doing our best. It was a weird review period because I think this game is very much a your mileage may vary. Whenever anybody asks, should I play this? I have no friends to play with. I would say no, probably, because it's the same thing as signing on alone to play squads in Fortnite. When 2 teammates immediately run opposite directions, you're like, oh, fuck, why am I even here right now? And that can happen quite a bit in the Elden Ring Nightreign experience based on just reading a whole lot of tweets. I know the first couple days in, they're having a lot of matchmaking issues, and it took a while for the game to kind of get its rating up above mostly negative or mixed on Steam, because a lot of people were having issues with networking and just with what the game was. And then they made playing solo a bit easier.
Not even fun, Andy. People want to know, is solo fun?
I think solo is much better and easier to deal with now because they gave you a free res. So whenever you do go down, you can just kind of come back during a boss fight. And my opinion of this game has only gone up. I think the game really, really surprised me with how much deeper it was. I thought it really just felt like, wow, this is one of the best mods you could download on the internet. And it's cool what they've done here. They just want to. This was just one of the teams on From Software saying, I really want to make a kind of roguelite, fast-paced multiplayer experience. And, we look at this as hopefully their testing grounds for their future in multiplayer and making things easier to squad up with friends. But I would say that my opinion of this only went up, because I think when the game came out, I was like, yeah, I think it's around an 8 out of 10. I'd go up to like a 9. I think that the explorable areas, with how the world does change with these shifting lands and how much adventure we found, where once you beat a boss, then the next time you drop into the world, there will be a massive part of the map that is different and changed. And exploring that was so much fun. Trying to find the balance of, we're running out of time, but I really, really want to explore this. Having those sort of mini metagame excursions where you go, I mean, Mike, it felt like every round we were going, oh, we got to go take on that rooftop boss because it was so challenging. I think we could take it on now. You got Loretta, the run killer. Like, there's just so many awesome moments in this game that are fun as hell, and the ability to I think having that RNG is also a lot of really fun. Like I know some people can look at RNG as something that can just kind of get in the way, but whenever random number generator, that's what it means. So I hate saying RNG, and some people just don't even know what that means. But the RNG of sometimes having a run and then suddenly the build is working out and you go, oh shit, this is going to be a special one. It just gets really exciting. And then us beating the bosses and having people from chat join us, it was a good time. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Mike, what are you prepared to give it a kind of funny score?
On the kind of funny scale, I would give this an 8.5 out of 10 on the kind of funny scale. It is great to amazing. It is an absolute blast to play. This is, like I said, a game that is strictly for me. And I think there are others that probably found a lot of fun with their friends doing this. But as someone who's always wanted to share the Dark Souls experience with others, and then having that turned up to 10, where there is a giant map, there is a closing circle, and it is, hey, we can't stand around at the site of grace and discuss what movesets we should get. We just need to go, 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 and have that all mixed in so well where, yeah, there is a little bit of thought process, right, Andy, of like, what are my passives on all these weapons that I grab? What is that next thing that I should be looking for, whether it be a buff to maybe help some of my moves, or is it something that will affect the boss in a different way, different like poisons, holy damage? What should we be kind of gearing towards? So there is a little bit of thought process to that. It's not mindless, just run around and constantly attack. You do have to be kind of mindful of what you're thinking you should be building towards, but I love the just fast-paced nature of this. I think the bosses are really tuned well for a 3-player situation. Each boss felt like they were coming after every single person on the screen, no matter what. There wasn't much free time. The only time I ever felt like I was free to just kind of be quiet and easy was when I had a weapon that said, hey, the boss will rarely look at you, right? And so I think they did a great job tuning these 8 bosses to, hey, 3 players are on the screen and they really know how to attack you. I think in other FromSoft games, they're not really tuned to have 2 or 3 other people on the screen with you. It is usually a 1v1 fight. And so to see them say, hey, this is the core of the game, let's build these bosses out like that, every single one was so much fun to see, from, of course, the beginning when the wolf turns into 3 wolves and all of you are getting attacked one by one. I think that's really cool. To the final boss where he can just, close the gap and create space so quickly on you that you're never really safe no matter how far away you are. I think each of the character classes are really built out in a fun way for you to try and be something different than you normally would be. I'm usually a sorcerer, and even the sorcerer in this class is different than how I would play, right? Because there is no mana flasks here. You have to kind of play that a little bit differently, how you get your FP back to use magic spells. And so each one, from the super tank berserker guy to, of course, the guardian eagle, who is kind of the big shield man, all have their own unique stuff. And I think that's what will get me coming back, Tim, is there's things that I want now in the future, now that I've beaten it, that I want to see. But really, I could jump back tomorrow because I have, 6 other characters to play, 5 other characters to go check out.
A lot of other characters, and in the last week, they kind of just out of nowhere dropped an enhanced version of one of the bosses. And they were like, this is the extra hard version of it for people that want the extra challenge. And it's not just we gave it a bigger health bar and it does more damage. It has new movesets and new, completely new mechanics that it does in the second. It starts off in its second phase. So when one of these bosses kicks up its second phase, you go, oh shit, the purple lightning is going to start happening. The boss starts off in that phase, and then suddenly, I don't know if you saw any of the footage of this, Mike, but there are those wind currents that shoot you up, like the Blessing calls them the trampolines. But this boss creates like a gigantic purple tornado, and you have to jump into the tornado. Like, it's wild what they're doing. And then now this dude, who is one of the more annoying bosses to deal with, the big sort of horse
Centaur man,
Centaur guy. They are releasing the enhanced version of him in the next couple of days as well. It's just really cool what they're doing to keep players in while this next big DLC will happen. And this next big DLC should be awesome whenever that does happen.
Another wild one, From Software, again, drops the no microtransactions. It's just all in the game, right? Like that was the one when we talked about. It's like they could make millions of dollars selling skins if they wanted to, right? They have a rabid fan base that is all in on this. They could have easily been like, hey, we got a bunch of these skins, $5 a pop, and people would have gone crazy, right? But they stuck what they normally do of, hey, we're not charging you anything. You just play the game and have fun. And it's wild to be sitting on that end of it, looking back and going, man, they didn't charge me a dime for any of this. I had a blast with just the upfront cost, and I'm loving every moment of it.
Yeah.
Closing out the Elden Ring talk here, Shay Slay, Super Chat's insane. Did you platinum it? It took me forever to get 3 wins trophy. Andy, I know you're not a trophy guy and you're on PC, but are you interested in doing all the achievements?
There's too many other things to play. No, like I've never been that dude. At one point, we were close to getting the 3 wins in a row, the turkey, and we got our ass. Me, Mike, and I forget who we were with, got our asses handed to us. So it was like, all right, well, that's gone. And I'm not.
We're never doing that again. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not like super pumped or
That's
excited
not the
about
reason
trying to
you're
do that.
yeah.
This game is great. Go play it with your friends. It's a ton of fun. I can't wait to see the future of this, how they incorporate new bosses. How do they add other bosses from the games to be kind of the minor bosses? Will we see a switch up of the map anytime? What are the new added things like Andy brought up with just changing up the world in just a small, slight way? There's
And the little side
big
quests.
future to this.
There's a lot more to this game than I thought that there would be. Not that I should be giving them credit for making a full developed game. I expected, I think the negative part of me looked at this as like, oh, multiplayer cash grab. And there was a lot more in here than I thought there would be when it comes to different characters having their own mission structures and conversations that they're having with other people and like getting lore bits about all of these different people about why they're here. Really, really damn cool. Awesome game.
Can't wait.
Greg Miller has beat Death Stranding 2, and he's prepared to give his final score. But we're going to hear that after a word from our sponsors. Wow. This episode's brought to you by Cash App. We've all had those moments getting meals out with people that always end in some kind of awkward experience of having to figure out the least complicated way to just get it done. Or even after figuring it out, have you used an app and ended up having to wait days for your money to finally show up? What if we could solve all of that easily? Cash App is a completely different experience, fast, easy, and safe, and a great way to receive and transfer money to family and friends. It's incredibly easy to set up. You just enter your phone or email and some other basic information, no bank account needed, and then there's no waiting around for days. It's your money, you shouldn't have to wait. We love using Cash App because it's fast, it's safe, and it just makes life way less stressful. For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code, Kinda Funny, in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money, that's Cash App. This episode is brought to you by Mood. Let me tell you about the online cannabis company that's revolutionizing how we deal with life's challenges. From sleepless nights to stress-filled days. Mood.com has created an entire line of functional gummies that target specific health concerns with 100% federally legal THC blends. They'll deliver them discreetly right to your doorstep, and you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com with promo code Kinda Funny. I've been having a great time trying out all their different gummies, and I'm loving how each one feels. Their sleepy time gummies will knock you out in about 15 minutes flat. No hangovers, no grogginess, and their Epic Euphoria gummies are perfect for those days when nothing's going right. And best of all, not only does Mood stand behind everything with an industry-leading 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code Kinda Funny. So head to Mood.com, browse their amazing selection of functional gummies, and find the perfect gummy for whatever you are dealing with. And remember to use promo code Kinda Funny at checkout to save 20% on your first order. Greg Miller.
Hello.
A couple days ago, you sat at this very desk. I think it was yesterday, actually.
It was yesterday, too.
And y'all reviewed Death Stranding 2. Everybody gave their scores.
Yeah.
You had not beat the game. You've now beat the game, so you're now giving your final score for Death Stranding 2. I'm very interested. What is it on the Kinda Funny scale?
Thank you. Yeah, yesterday when we did this, I was still an hour and a half away from goal. You know what I mean? It always an upsetting place to come up short.
tough.
You know what I mean?
And it's a Kojima game, so an hour and a half. What's that look like? How many cinematics are there?
That's the problem, is when it was 12:15 and I was in episode 14 of 16, according to trophies. it's too late at night for me on Sunday or on Monday morning to text Bless and be like, how far am I actually out? So it was that thing of I could keep pushing, be blurry-eyed in the morning, but there's no guarantee I'm actually going to get there. So when I got it and I told Bless, he's like, you're an hour and a half away. I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? It's interesting. Ooh. Yesterday on the review, I said that for most of it, I thought I was cooking at an 8. And then as we ramped up to the end there, my final couple play sessions, which were media, I was like, okay, I see an 8.5 here or whatever. On the end of it here, I think I lock in at an 8.5. There's no reason. It's a great game. I do think that the very ending of it, the final boss fight, no spoilers, of course, everybody, but it is a tale of two games where it is, the first section is exactly what I bitched about yesterday in the review. Of like, I brought up to the table with Jerica and Bless. I'm like, does Hideo Kojima still have it as a boss fight guy? We talk about all the Metal Gear games and how amazing these boss fights were, but for Death Stranding 1, I don't remember any of them being spectacular. And in Death Stranding 2, no spoilers, the big things you build to for these fights, I don't think are that interesting. I'm fighting a giant BT. I'm fighting this guy, and so it is shoot, 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 shoot. He warps away. Then I hide or I find him and I shoot you. It's not like it isn't what it was back in the day. And
not a whole lot mechanically to him. Yeah.
Exactly. So then to get here at the end of this one, there's the guy. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Okay, he went away. Ping. Oh, he's over there. Walk. Shoot, shoot. Okay, this sucks is what I'm thinking as I play it. And then the second phase, not even phase, the next part was when I was like, this is fucking Hideo. This is what I want out of these games, of this batshit crazy blah, blah, blah. So I think I've been thinking a lot about it, obviously, of where my final score is. I end on an 8.5 because truly the stuff surrounding the few things that I don't think are amazing, the stuff surrounding it is amazing. It is spectacular. It is what I want. It is a gorgeous environment. I do like the moment-to-moment gameplay of making deliveries. I don't enjoy fighting the BTs. I think the AI could be smarter when I'm trying to stealth around or whatever, but that's not what the game is. The game is that experience of trudging across Australia, trudging across Mexico, putting the thing in, getting that getting the new thing that changes how I play it, and putting the battery on my car to drive and be faster, blah, blah. And then, of course, it is the batshit insane story that is a Death Stranding in general.
Forgive me if you said this yesterday.
Of course, no, I know you've been busy.
Giving Death Stranding 2 an 8.5.
Yeah.
What would you give Death Stranding 1 in 2025?
Oh, see, I can't answer that question because that's the thing of like, this is one of my points yesterday, especially with Blessing and Jerica having played Death Stranding 1 way more recently than me in 2019 when I reviewed it with Fran, Imran, and Andy. It was that idea of like, when I was playing Death Stranding 2, I was like, yeah, it's more Death Stranding. So to see all the reviews when people were like, oh, but they improved this, so they got rid of this friction point of that, I was like, oh, this is the rose-tinted glasses of what I remember Death Stranding 1 to be. For you, Tim, and for anybody who didn't catch it yesterday, I brought up Superman in review, where I thought Nick made a salient point in Superman 2, where he's like, this is Superman 2, it is part 2. When you were like, oh, I was surprised so much of the stuff from the first movie was here, right? That's what I think Death Stranding 2 is as well, where it is just the next part of Death Stranding, the next chapter in this story. It's not radically different because I'm still on the same journey just 11 months later.
You build for a lot of people?
No. I did the exact same thing you made fun of me for in the original review of take a penny, leave a penny guy, but I just take the pennies.
Fuck yeah.
But to my defense, this is something we complained about in the review, is the fact that, we had 3 weeks with the game. Week 1 was literally, hey, it's Switch and you're going to SGF. So I started week 2 where a lot of people have already built stuff. And I was like, cool. And I would contribute a little thing here or there. Week 3, which was when I put in the bulk of my review time, they had turned off servers. Oh. So it was just me. So it's like, do you want to build this road? Nothing is in it. I'm like, well, no, because I don't even think I'm going to get back to this in the review period. So again, I'm very excited to do more of the side stuff and flesh it out more. And again, that's where the 8.5 comes in, I think, where it is that idea of, I think the clip at which we had to play, or I had to play for this, the sticking points I had of like, well, I don't think the boss fight complaint is going to matter as much in 20 hours when I'm still delivering packages and doing this thing. And like, what speaks to me and speaks about how loudly this game has already impacted me is the fact that I was making clips yesterday and the day before to send to Tim. Yeah. Like today, when he had a brief second when the internet went down, I brought him over and I showed him the ending of the game. I showed him a thing I texted him. I sent him music this morning from an artist that the game turned me on to. Like, it's interesting how I think
Dude just straight up remixes the GameCube intro song. It turns into like a whole like freaking jazz thing. It's really sick.
It's interesting to me how, Hideo Kojima in auteur, movies, the music, his Instagram, all this stuff. The fact that this game is out for me and I've been playing it and it has influenced me to that level where my Spotify is now littered with songs from this that have not only introduced me to the artist and the song, but then I've drilled into their album to find things I'm listening to off of that to send to Tim that it wasn't from the game. And of course, the clips I'm sending around and the references I'm making. Like, again, this probably sounds too hoity-toity, but I think games in general are art. Clearly, Kojima's trying to make something bigger than a game, and I think he achieves that with Death Stranding 2. And that's why I think it's an 8.5, even though I don't think the boss fights have it like they used to, even though I think it's easy to cheese the stealth the way I did, and it's a viable strategy. But does that mean I don't want to go back and 100% the game and do all these different things and walk across with my... No, I want to do all of that. I want to keep playing.
I mean, you just said that. You want 100% this game. Like, do you see yourself platinuming this?
No. Back in 2019, I had no children. In 2019, I had no children on all the time in the world, and I never made it back to Death Stranding 1. And I think it's the exact same situation here where...
You didn't think Ben would be into this?
Dude, shout out to
Troy
Ben.
Baker's tentacle tongue comes out of his mouth.
We had such a breakthrough this weekend, right, of like him having video game time, but he not only did he let me nap next to him on the couch while he played, at one point he wanted me to play everything co-op, and I did a lot of co-op, right? But I was like, hey, Daddy, reviews video games for a living. Would you mind if he played a game next to you on Portal? And he's like, no. So he was playing on Switch on the TV, and I was playing there next to Portal, and I'm like, this is the dream.
That rocks.
All right, this is the fucking life. As he's playing Princess Peach Showtime.
Hell yeah.
I saw a good Blue Sky post just to go back to your original thoughts on or any of our original thoughts on Death Stranding 1.
Yeah.
This is from Chris Plant of the Besties, who says,
Love him.
As the Death Stranding 2 discourse ramps up, remember that everybody played a different version of Death Stranding 1. 1 is 95% hiking, barely any user-built support structures, and a busted difficulty curve. 2, user support and lots of vehicles, but fussy controls and buggy physics. 3, director's cut with a human catapult. This game had a lot of
Also
different
true.
iterations where suddenly the director's cut comes out and it's, hey, we added a bunch of shit to make the world and traversal a lot more fun. And it is really, really neat. It's
You just blew Mike's mind.
There was a human catapult the whole time
yeah.
me and Roger could be using. I was walking my happy ass for hours.
we would have launched your ass across the
There's so much. I can't
Across
wait
the
for
parking
you to
lot.
Saved me a lot.
I'm really interested to see if you're at Death Stranding 2, you guys dive in and really get nerdy with it. And not to mention see what's already built.
Yeah.
Because when that the week I had with it where other people had built shit and like, oh, hey, thanks, Young. Yeah, you made this for me. That's exactly what
Yeah.
I need.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not going to spoil things that are in there, but it was like that idea of like, yeah, that was super cool. So yeah, no, best intentions, I'd love to. I imagine it's going to stay in my hard drive for a while. I want to. But guess what? Free afternoon today. No meetings after I do Greg Way. No other things to do.
Goon Awakening?
It's time, everybody. The Xbox turns on,
Whoa.
and we are doing it. The real playthrough of Expedition 33.
Oh.
The next thing on my horizon that I really got to play and can't wait for, Donkey Kong. So let's bust this shit out. I got a few afternoons clear here. Let's get in it. Let's see it on a TV, not start it on low settings on a deck or whatever. Let's actually go.
Let it go.
We're going to fucking
Let
go.
it ride.
I feel like we need to figure out the right way to do this, but we need to record your reactions to certain key points in this game.
I'll let you know, one of the biggest things, nobody in
Don't spoil
chat,
anything.
be fucking cool. Everyone
Don't
at the
look
table,
at- don't
be
look at
fucking
them.
cool. I've shut my eyes and taken off my glasses, and I've rubbed my eyelids sensually. One of the big things that made sure of, like, obviously all of your praises, all of the praises online, but every so often, eyes are closed, ears are shut, hearts are open. Someone's like, oh, but the Act 2 twist or the twist between Act 1 and Act 2, blah, blah. And I've heard that enough where I'm like, that's interesting. I don't think about it. The one and only Aunt Lucy James was over for, I think, 4th of July, Memorial Day. And we were out back barbecuing, hanging out or whatever. And she mentioned it offhanded of this, whatever. And then she started to say something. I'm like, and she's like, what? You don't know about this? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, I've stayed clear. And Jen's like, well, I want to know. So I did the cover my ears and sang a song or whatever. And when I came back out, when Jen's like, oh, you got to play this game. I'm like, all right. Like I was going to anyway. I knew I needed to. But here's the moment. I'm in this place. I'm ready to embrace it.
this.
I've played the opening 3 times, but I'm ready this time to be like, no, it was a preview. It was on the deck. It was just not the right time. This 4th time's the time where we're fucking
time.
in it.
You don't
We
want
are
a PS5
going.
Pro it?
No, because I want to be able to take it from the Xbox to the handheld.
He's
The
the pro
ROG
here.
Ally has changed my life, everybody. And if I can, that was the same thing of like, fucking,
Tell me.
He's leaning
Tell me
back.
about it.
I fucking play Cosmic Invasion.
Okay.
Is this Shredder's Revenge? That I said, I'm going to buy this tonight. Went back to my hotel room, opened up the Switch store. $40. So I was like, hold up a sec.
Excuse me.
And then I went,
Whoa.
I hovered on buy and I went, wait, opened up. Guess who's on Xbox Game Pass?
You know where it's at.
I got it
It's
on the
been
Xbox.
there.
I got it on the ROG. I'm
They
fucking
got it,
rocking.
Andy.
And I'm telling you, like, if for Marvel, like, it's the same thing with Marvel, or it's the same thing with Marvel of like, I want to put so much time into that, and I want my progress everywhere. So I was like, shit, am I going to buy multiple versions? And I was like, wait, make this fucking a Xbox Game Anywhere game so I can do this exact situation again.
I need to run to a call, but real quick, I just gotta say this, Andy, because I don't know if you knew this.
Let me hear it, big dog.
But GeForce Now Ultimate that we've been raving about,
On
you
Steam
can-
Deck.
It's on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
You can connect your Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, any game on Game Pass, you then have on GeForce Now on your Steam Deck. We're living a good time,
God
y'all.
damn.
Good time, everybody. I'm gonna run. Mike's taking over. I love you all.
Let's finish it up. Greg,
Hi.
any more thoughts on Death Stranding 2 before I move on?
No, there's a lovely review yesterday we
Okay,
did. Jerica
yeah.
came and
Go check it
visited.
out.
Thank you so much to her. Yeah, please go check out the full-blown review there and more thoughts. But
I have so
yeah,
many
very
questions,
special game.
but I want to save them because me and Roger play it this Friday.
Of course,
And
can't
there's
wait.
just so many things I want to know about from the boss fights to more, but we'll save it. Let's move on to the next part of the show. Andy,
Hey.
you beat the Lies of P DLC. You put a lot of time into this one. How did it go?
Lies of P DLC Overture. I have a problem with the games industry.
Okay.
All right.
What's wrong with it?
I had a problem with the company earlier for not making fun of
We're
Bear
sorry about
enough
that. We're
for the
sorry.
sunburn.
Is that
Yeah.
also the problem with the industry, that the industry at large?
The industry has not capitalized on this.
Alana Pierce, where is your blue
tweeting.
sky about this?
Here's the thing, man. I finished this experience, and then I go, oh, I drafted this on my fantasy critic. 84? That's got to be a minimum 91, 92.
Wow, it's
This
this high.
is one of the best DLCs I've ever experienced. This is an amazing portion of, just even better boss fights with some of the most gripping, heartbreaking storytelling you will ever experience. This is going to be like my Shadow of the Erdtree last year, where I had it way high up there, and everybody's like, "But it's a DLC, and you can't play with the core one." I was like, "I don't give a damn, dude. Like, they made it. Unless Barrett and the government comes to me and says no DLCs on your list, and I won't put it there."
Barrett can't just make the rules.
But I'm
you
not
can
going
put
to
it on
not
there. Yeah,
put it
yeah.
on the list.
course.
I think this experience was fucking phenomenal. The added weapons are so great. And more importantly, it really does come down to how great the boss fights were and the storytelling to go along with it. I think the game is phenomenal.
Linart says, in baddies, Andy, don't forget the baddies.
Oh, baddies. Oh, my God. And no, the game's amazing. And I know that they just hit 3 million sold, which is so great. And I hope that they continue to sell, especially because for anybody who's always gone, difficulty's just too much for me, I want to try them out. There are difficulty settings now that we mentioned. When the DLC dropped, they released difficulty settings so that the normal difficulty that you play at is now like level 3, and then there's level 2 that's a bit easier, and then level 1 that is very, very easy. And so you have no excuse now. This game needs to be played. The DLC is fantastic. It cements themselves as, if FromSoft isn't doing one, what's Neo is and Round 8 doing?
We can trust
Go ahead,
him.
Greg.
So the difficulty thing, are you saying the game is so good, narratively story, that you dial the difficulty down to play it that way? Or is, because like, wouldn't you, I think for these kind of games, so many people are drawn in by the gameplay, by the challenge, by the parry poppy stuff.
Well, I think that you can still be drawn in with the combat, but just not getting 1 or 2 shot. You're given some leniency. You're given some grace to miss a parry every now and then, or miss a dodge every now and then, as opposed to, I'm fighting this boss and it hits me 1, 2, and it's like, there goes that run. And that could definitely push people away, and I totally understand why.
Sure.
For people who don't even for people like us, adults with lives, and I mean, much less Greg, who has children and has I understand that time is so precious, especially when Souls-likes take away so much of that time. I think now that if you've ever been interested in these styles of games, or even if you played Expedition 33 recently and loved how satisfying the pairing was there, maybe that's your sort of gateway drug. But the parries in this game, to be able to break down, to be able to perfectly time your parries enough to where an enemy's weapon breaks and shatters, and now they do less damage, is one of the most satisfying mechanics in games. But I also don't want everybody to think that this is going to be the most straightforward in your face story. Still requires some reading, still requires some voice
am I at a library or am I playing a video game?
Find a random note 20 feet off the path that's hidden behind some guy's blubber whale, and I'm like,
I fucking hate a blubber whale.
Yeah. But it's amazing. It's still so fantastic with what it does with storytelling, and even some small side quests that are definitely more in your face and less of like you got to do crazy exploring or whatever. It doesn't go as deep as From Software does with how they're trying to get these stories across, but it's so effective in it. It's so emotional and amazing. The game is fantastic. I'd give this DLC like,
ooh, here it comes.
Fuck. I'd go 9.5. I'd go 9.5 on the rating.
Damn, dude.
And the reason why I'm not giving it like the masterpiece thing is I think it launches and has a lot of difficulty issues where, first off, really, really tough to just shadow drop a DLC. Especially a DLC that requires you to be 15 hours into the base game.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but the sickos wanted it. The sickos didn't want to wait any longer. The shadow drop was a good celebration.
sickos didn't know when it was dropping.
Yeah, so the sickos were already ready to rock. So they were like, "Oh, this is a celebration. Let's do this thing."
No, they're not though. That's the thing. Like,
Well, how long the game had been out? It's been out for a long time.
Yeah, but getting into New Game Plus, you'd have to get back up to that chapter point. You'd have to
go backwards.
Right.
If I beat the game, I'm not allowed to go backwards.
If you locked into if you accidentally hit Start New Game Plus and now you're at chapter 1 with your new character, maybe you put the game away, maybe you didn't go back to it. The game comes out and the game says, "Oh, you need to be at chapter 9." And it's like, "Oh, fuck. I got to play a decent amount of this to get caught up." So, as awesome as the Shadow Drop is, Shadow of the Erdtree much more effective because everybody's getting ready and getting prepped for the big DLC release, right? And make sure you get to Mohg's Palace to be ready or whatever. For this, it was as awesome as it was to be surprised by it. You know, I could totally see this being missed by a lot of players, even if you loved Lies of P, because maybe it's just catching you at a really, really bad time where you're already playing other video games. But I still think this is like easily the most recommendable Souls-like because of the difficulty issues, because of how amazing the boss fights are. The level design's fantastic, and again, the narrative is really, really awesome and so wild to see. A Pinocchio fucking soul. This is what a weird thing this is going to be. How silly that they're doing that this is. I think when we think of public domain and, you know, everybody making a horror Winnie the Pooh game or a horror whatever the hell, to see this Pinocchio game and not be taken serious by anybody. And now it's like, oh, I'd put this over some Souls games. I would, you know, this is the one to look for. And they have set the standard for, if you want to try to make a game in this genre, like we hit every mark. We're not just going for combat in the way that Stellar Blade and First Berserker Kazan does and missing out on everything else that makes the games great. This game is hitting on every one of those aspects.
Hell yeah.
Game rocks.
Andy loves that game. Go play that DLC.
Look at that. We got a raid from the Chugs.
Chugs.
Nice.
Adam Cole.
Greg Miller.
Baby. Yeah.
You got a backpack you want to share with us.
I do,
with this backpack?
Mike.
Tell me all about this backpack.
Everybody knows, and if you've been watching Kind of Funny a long time, if you've been watching Greg Miller a long time, I swear by sfbags.com. That's Waterfield Designs. It's my Switch case, but now it's my Switch case. It's my Steam Deck case. It's my ROG case, and it was my Vita case back in the day or whatever. Right. They have this thing called the Techfolio Tank Backpack. I travel a lot, and I need a backpack that doesn't look ridiculous and can do a bunch of different stuff. So I got it. You have it over there. I have the Techfolio Tank Backpack. You might say, it's a backpack, Greg. What's exciting about it?
Yeah.
And why is it so expensive? Again, sfbags.com. They sent me this for review. They make a bunch of different stuff, obviously, but it's all meant to be, hey, this is a premium product, right?
Okay.
You can get a bag, you know, whatever. It's a $419 backpack.
Okay.
A stiff price, I admit.
Yeah.
I admit. Here's the thing, though. Nothing drives me more crazy.
It's got $300 in
it. Nothing drives me more crazy than having a backpack that looks like garbage or a backpack that doesn't store all the stupid shit I need when I'm off on the road.
Okay.
They sent me this one, and because of how I travel, because of what I do with the gaming and the computers and stuff, and I put it through many trips, let alone just fun trips or whatever, but many trips in particular. The ones I want to call it are PAX, Montreal, and SGF.
Okay.
I used this bag for all 3 of those trips for entirely different reasons, okay? For PAX, I took it with an Xbox Series S in it, with the X screen attached, the controller and the headset, of course, my water, my computer. The thing, if you want to toss it back up the actual website, it'll look better, obviously, but it expands out so much and is able to hold so much, and it has all the different compartments. I have my Switch in there, my dock in there right now. It's got controller cases on it. It's got all the different zips for all my different shenanigans of Altoids or power cables up here for my AirPods.
Internal zips rocks.
This dude up here is a magnetic deal. So when I have it, it's got the strap so you can put it on the back the suitcase when you're going up. But then here I toss the passport in there, the keys, the cell phone.
I was gonna say, don't put your passport in there.
I carry Ben's Superman. We have been missing Superman. We've been missing crypto. So it's nice to know that crypto was still in my bag from one of the other vacation trips we did, the Father's Day trip or whatever. Okay. Anyways, PAX had all that stuff. Montreal was my Steam Deck, my Switch, water, kids' books and toys, and the computer in there, along with a bunch of other stuff. And then beyond that, the SGF one was the special one where it was Switch 2, Pro Controller, water, computer, and clothes. I didn't bring a backpack. I didn't bring a suitcase to SGF.
I like bringing. So that was my thing. Is I'm going to ask you, how much clothes can be fit in this? Because I'm a one-bag man.
I
don't like bringing 2 bags. No roller bags, 1-bag man.
Yeah. No,
you can do it all?
This is the shit, man. This is the one that did it. You're running through this great video. I haven't actually seen of it or whatever. I love this. It's, again, designed to fit gigantic gaming laptops. Again, this is the TechFolio tank. They have a TechFolio a bag that's cheaper, that isn't designed to have all this different stuff in it the way this one does, as you see, with all the different zips and different pockets and different things on it. They have a million other ones up there. Again, SF Bags, I've sworn with them for years and years and years. They're a local company here at SF2. Love Waterfield. Love everything they do. You see how much you can store in it. Again, as somebody who wants to have all their crap in one bag, I was thrilled with this one and the ability to be able to store all this stuff. I love using it now as my daily bag. And the best thing, Mike, when I'm not keeping an Xbox in it and a controller and a headset and everything else, it comes down. Where it's like, it doesn't look like I'm walking around with, a deflated balloon on my back.
A bunch of textbooks going to class.
Yeah. And I know, again, like we always talk about this and, how lucky we are to get review samples and stuff like this. These are luxury products. You know what I mean? These are premium products for what you're doing. The case, I think the Switch cases are like $129, maybe $120, somewhere in there. Again, you could get a case cheaper, but I can't. As somebody, I don't know, I mean, the backpack I've had for, 2 months now or whatever, I've been kicking the tires on it. First off, not scuffed up and looking like crap, which a lot of my other backpacks would be. But all the cases I have for the gaming handhelds look and feel as good as they were the day I got them. So it's that idea where it's like, this is obviously an investment. It's not going to be for every blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm so sold on this TechFolio tank backpack. Man, big fan of it.
Everybody needs a good backpack.
Just watching them put the little, the mouse into the internal zipper. Internal zippers is not even something I'd considered how important that's. I just like toss shit into my bag, but like the ability to and
feel how soft everything is. Again, I understand the sticker shock of it, and that's what I'm saying. When somebody said people want Temu prices for local businesses, that's the whole thing of like, again, they've found their niche in terms of the audiences and what they're doing and what we want out of it.
That's cool.
It's really good. I'm a big fan. Obviously, I'm always happy to support.
So
SFX.
even when you fill up all these internal pockets, you're not banging into this. It feels like an easy zip. That's the catch, right? You got a lot of things in here, Greg.
Yeah.
But I hate when I jam both those 2 sides together and then it gets a little awkward zipping it up. It feels like it's supposed to fit comfortably.
It feels great. And
I have
easy
so many just cables everywhere.
And see that again, that's where the zip pouches come in. Like they're up here too. So you have like 2 different sets of zip pouches for AC adapters, USB-Cs. Then this one I just put AirPods in there. You put whatever you want in there. I got the Altoids, like I said. Ben bought, you know what, Mike? I want you to have these. Ben bought these M&Ms.
M&M minis.
But he had like one. So you got some M&M minis. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I love
M&M minis. Have you also seen the other one,
Skittles Littles?
I haven't seen Skittles Littles yet.
It's the same thing. Yeah, very cool.
Anyways, again, soft, padded, these nice, feel that sleeve. You know what I mean? For getting in there.
Oh my god!
Right? And you could have 2 laptops in there if you're that kind of person.
So now let's go
Here, I
over
got some
that.
equator
Right.
stickers
Put your
for you
hand in my
too.
pocket,
I love
you know?
that. How big a laptop can you fit in that?
I
What's
believe
the
it's
screen
18
size?
to 19 inches gaming
Okay,
laptops
that
is what
sounds good.
they're promoting on the
And
site.
then on these can fit your Switch, Steam Deck. Where did you shove that Xbox Series S in this?
So
Where did
for
you
the
put
Series
that?
S, right, I was running that one in here.
In
So
the back,
what I
yeah,
like to do with the
okay.
Series S is I have the laptop there,
Yeah.
then Series S with the X screen there,
Damn, okay.
then the controller on top of it, and then I kept the headset up here because I you know me, I got no shame, so I was rocking the big giant Xbox
yeah?
cans.
Oh, yeah, okay,
I was like,
okay.
I gotta have the best. I mean, I'm playing Outer Worlds at 35,000 feet. I need to have the best sound available. And Tim would tell me this probably isn't it, but I need plug and play. I just need it to work.
Yeah,
I just need it to work.
Hit the button, turn it on. Let's go. Okay, Greg.
Big
I
fan.
mean, everyone in life needs a good backpack. And eventually in your life, you will look and go, this is going to be the one. I'm not going to buy 7 Jan Sports like Snowbike Mike.
Yep.
I'm
And
not-
that's
and
my
they're gonna
thing,
break
dude.
down
I
I'm
kept
like
running-
7 in 2
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
But then,
Eventually you will.
and, like-
Eventually someone will do this.
And see how it like zips all the way down?
Yeah,
So you
I
can
love that.
open it. You can like have open heart surgery on it and get in there and stuff.
Okay.
9 out of 10. Amazing.
It's
Wow.
interesting to me because, yeah, I'd love to test this of like for a Snowbike Mike trip when I pack my clothes in one bag.
Yeah.
Plus the Steam Deck, which I always hate bringing because it takes up that.
It's
that
so bulky.
with the case in it.
Dude.
It's that extra one. It's like that's like 3 T-shirts or a couple pairs of jeans. Like it just takes up too much.
I was
I'd
just
love
about
to test of like how much I can shove in there. You know.
Yeah.
I was about to bring up though. I wish we just had Ant-Man technology to
Yeah.
because the Steam Deck is such a big ass thing, and it's
big.
It's 40% of my backpack. Yeah.
Okay. And where can people find that right before we get out of that?
SFbags.com, everybody. I've been supporting them for years. I'll continue to support them for years.
Take a look. I like the look of this one. I actually like that mocha brown over there. I like the brown
Yeah.
leather on the front there.
See,
That's a
I like
nice
my
little
my suitcases
color
are
there.
always going to be black. I'm always wearing black. I felt
Okay.
like the black was the better
Keep it
choice for
going.
me.
Yeah,
but
yeah. That's nice. I like
Waxed
the colors on
canvas
that.
with chocolate
Very nice.
leather.
Let's jump into some super chats to round out the show. Of course, Gondor's Condors wanted to know about Andy and Lies of P. Hey, guess what? There it is right there.
Amazing because literally as Gondor's Condor sent it, Andy started talking about it. He goes, well, there's $5 wasted.
Thank you, Gondor's Condor.
Bander SN writes in and says, I beat...
And then the other thing too, look,
Oh, yeah.
it stands on its own. It doesn't do the wobble fall over.
Okay. You know, that one didn't wow me. I don't know.
I
about
hate
that
a lot of shit about backpacks.
Okay. Bander SN wrote in and says, I beat Pipistrello this week. Highly recommend. That's the yo-yo one. Did you guys see that?
I want to play it so
Yeah?
bad.
Okay,
but
okay.
That's too many games.
Too
right
many games.
New Mateo writes in for you and I, and he says, does your score go down if you're stuck playing solo only for Elden Ring Nightreign?
now. Yeah, probably, but it also go
Is that how
down
you
if I was
played
on
it?
dial-up internet
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Seychelles writes in for you, Andy. Did you platinum it? Took me forever to get the 3 wins trophy. Of course, Andy, not on PlayStation, but Steam, you can still get all the trophies and rewards. You'll go back eventually. Do you think you'll try for it at all? I mean, 3 wins, pretty cool achievement.
I don't think it's something I'll try. I
Okay.
think I will just hopefully get it without really, it's something I'm ever going to strive for,
Okay.
I want to play more, though.
Broken Relic writes in with our final super chat and says, birthday tax.
Aw.
Happy birthday, Broken Relic. Hope you had a great day.
birthday to
Spending the day playing Death Stranding 2. We'll watch/listen later today. Well, of course, enjoy your Death Stranding 2 experience on your birthday. And then check out the review after you're done. Let us know what you think.
I saw people in the chat asking about Kind of Funny Games Daily as well.
Yes.
We had a complete and total internet failure, just dead internet during Games Daily. So if I saw people saying they're trying to find it in the live tab, that'll be if there even is a live thing right now, it'll be removed and it'll be uploaded
Gonna
VOD.
go to video, yeah. So be ready for that. It'll be on the video tab. Greg, Andy, anything to close out today's show? We had some fun. Excited to play some more games. We're gonna play Dune Awakening right after this
With Bless.
here live on Twitch. We're gonna go back to the South Desert. We're gonna pick up a brand new player in Arrakis. We're gonna show Bless how to play Dune and get him caught up with us. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun with that. Greg, I got Peak written down for all of us to try to play next week, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun for us to see. And rematches somewhere out there. The Kind of Funny team, we haven't got together to play rematch like we should.
been in
but
Arrakis
we're,
too much,
we're,
man.
we're
I
gonna
want you
get
to
out
stay
to
in
the
Arrakis
game
if you
eventually.
want
We'll
to.
figure it out. But any closing thoughts before we leave the show?
No.
I had a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah,
excited
nice.
to go play Expedition 33.
I'm really excited to hear about this, Greg. Yeah, I'm still waiting my turn to play that, but I cannot wait to hear what your thoughts are.
I like this shirt a lot. The only thing it's not that I don't like.
Yeah.
The logo looks like Wingstop and it makes me want wings.
Oh, that's good. Have you seen the hat?
No.
The hat's the fire piece of all this.
I like the beige sweatshirt you had, the tan.
Yeah, you
sweatshirt.
like that one? Yeah, they did a good job with this one. Even Nick is like into this, so maybe we'll get Nick to buy some. But this has been Kind of Funny Gamescast for your lovely Tuesday. We will be back with more. Of course, don't forget we are live on Twitch and on YouTube going in to Dune to play some more Dune Awakening. And of course, Games Daily will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. West Coast, Best Coast time. What are we doing tomorrow? When's Superman in review? Is that
Superman
Thursday?
is Thursday. Also, a programming note for you, Jack Quaid. The Boys star.
Ah, this is it. Yes.
He pulled a big card on us, and he can't do Wednesday for the Gamescast, so he's going to do Thursday for the Gamescast, and Thursday's Gamescast will move to Wednesday. So tomorrow you get a review of Rematch and Dune Awakening so far.
Fantastic. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Don't ever touch